Hello, my name is Hope from the platform of eSeniors.org. eSeniors is a non-profit organization that provides virtual companion for seniors from age 60 and above. Virtual companion is basically designed to provide seniors with emotional support and companionship for seniors who feel lonely and isolated from their communities. And it is done remotely through the usage of video chat technology. So I want to welcome you all to today's book reading section. We have been reading a book from Alessa Gege titled The Unexpected Joy at Dawn. We have done several chapters, so we are going to be starting now from where we stopped. Listen as I read. What are you looking at, my dear? She asked. Me? Don't mind me, Maza. He fumbled the name again. Marshall laughed lovingly and appeared not to notice the renaming of her. If I could find the means to liberate and resettle my family, I'll do so, she said. You know the government back home isn't legitimate. It's not, but look at me. I can even defend myself. There she goes again, Nee asked, speaking to himself. What a situation to be in. He was silent for a while. This woman had all the sympathy that he could feel for anyone in a bad situation. Back home, those in government and indeed most people are hunting for alleged saboteurs, she said. And come to think of it, they are all real saboteurs, conspirators against the nation's growth. They are anti-people and anti-states. That's just what they are. Neil shook his head. He was in deep contemplation of the state of affairs. The lady kept quiet. Maza, he called, Masha name again. She did not want to be called Maza. Mash or Masha. Why can't you call me Mash or Masha? She protested, justified. Oh, did I call you that? Did I call you by that? Mash? Mash. That's what it's going to be. Mash or nothing else. Mash, I only want to sit and look at you. And for putting me at ease, I'll call you Maza, Maza, Maza. There you go again, Maza. I say it is mash. Oh, mash, 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 mash. Neil sat up and ate the biscuit avidly. The knocking behind the door came again, loud and persistent. Neil got up. What is that? Mash. She walked towards the door. You pull the door down, she said. Neil joined her. What about visiting me at Miliki? This place is... he said. I'll come tomorrow if it will suit you. When Neil opened the door, the old fat proprietor of Hotel Erin stood there. Neil cast an unfriendly look at him and walked past him. He joined his friends. Together, they walked into the silent darkness outside towards Maliki. That evening, they ended their query. The caretaker charged them with attempting to discount contrary to their pledge to abide by his instruction. He warned them that it was to be their last. Never leave the house until you are asked to do so by me all by my brother. That was it, and he added that that day was his birthday and that it was usual of him to be compassionate at such times. Any subsequent disregard for the other would not be tolerated, he told them. He made them stand before him attentively with their hands by their sides and asked them to plead individually for forgiveness. They did so without wanting to do it. The sun's rays streamed gently through the window and splashed on her face. She blinked, and when she opened her eyes again, the rays blinded her temporarily, and she blinked again and blinked. Carefully, she lifted herself from the bed. The face behind the door became clearer. The figure crossed to her bed. The Queen Mother herself, Mama, said, "Kola, Kola," she joked. The other responded with a smile. She hurried to the bedroom and washed her teeth. After breakfast, they decided to go around the village. The Queen Mother told her all she wanted to know, and most gratifying of all to Mama. She told her Neil worked at Expense Bank in Accra. They talked about many other things, including politics. They talked about many other things, including politics. They discussed the strengths and weaknesses of the overthrown government of Ghana. Buza initiated the Rural Development Program. The Queen Mother said, but the cancellation of some benefits that the army had enjoyed was the real thing. The catalyst, I'll say, the devaluation of the cedi by about 47%, however, was the last move to cause the overthrow of the Progress Party government by the army. She said, now the cedi has slumped irrevocably. No, the Alliance compliance order was the cause. God was against the order, Mama disputed. The Queen Mother laughed. Kula Kula, Mama said. Orajo's beauty had endeared her to her teachers, but she liked eating kola. The headmaster did not understand why she was so fond of eating kola nuts. She was constantly being reprimanded for her habit. Therefore, kola became a common joke at school, and each time it was mentioned, Mama went wild. But that day, she and her friends joked over it and called each other Kola Kola, and that became their fun name. The only street running through the village had been tarred beautifully. The two friends cheered as they walked back to the residence of the Queen Mother. The trees on the Queen Mother's compound were picking fresh leaves, and a line of bougainvillea formed an orderly hedge behind the building. You have not seen my palm plantation yet, the Queen Mother said, and my ceramics factory. All yours, Mama asked. Yes, but the drought is killing the palm trees, she said. However, the ceramics factory is doing well, but the rivers are drying up, and that's my headache as well. I'll have wished to visit all those places, said Mama. You mean you will not or you cannot? Anyway, my brother should know you have returned. You surely should wait. Kola Kola, and you must visit my farm, she said. The Queen Mother was a very dynamic royal who loved her village dearly. Though only about 30 years of age, she worked relented, relent- relentlessly for the progress of her people. Through her efforts, two Carthage industries had been established in the village, but as fate would have it, the Queen Mother had no child of her own. She lamented this, though it did not put her spirit down, for the fact that she had no child of her own did not stop her from looking after children who needed assistance to go to school or hospital. In spite of her status, the Queen Mother Abond was a bed-sitter. As the two entered the room, Mama admired the simple tradition decoration in it. The Queen Mother walked to the bed and smoothed the surface, drawing the blankets and bed sheet to the left and then right. I have got to see my brother today, Mama Orojo said. After that, I will come back and look at everything you have to show me. You promise? I asked the Queen Mother. I promise, Mama replied. Mama was feeling grassy from her journey. She requested a wash. The Queen Mother showed her the bathhouse. She hurried into the Did you find the towel? The Queen Mother asked. Bathhouse and washed down quickly. Water was still dripping down her body as she re-entered the room with the Queen Mother following her. Did you find the towel? The Queen Mother asked. I did. Don't worry. Kula kula. I have I have a way of getting the water off me, she said. She dried herself in her peculiar way, letting the water dry on her and rubbing the drying water into her skin. She applied soap instead of pomade to her skin and put on her underclothes. Next, she put on a brown cover over a well-made cloth. The Queen Mother looked at her and laughed admiringly. Your spirit is still here. You haven't forgotten the cover. Don't tell me you sewed this yourself. No, I didn't. I have a Ghanaian lady friend in Nigeria who sews my things for me. Hey, you mean a Ghanaian there? They are returning home. Do you know that not all Ghanaians in Nigeria will leave? Before leaving the room to wash, Mama had put her Bible on the bed. When, the, when she finished, she looked round for it but did not find it. The Queen Mother led her attention to the pillow by her gaze. Mama took the Bible from under the pillow and put it into her bag. Joe shook his head. The man standing in front of him laughed. Bayman had swung back to life. A female bank employee passed by and Joe watched her hips swinging from left to right. We have to risk it this time, Joe, the man said. He was known as Tally O. The Dagger group had not visited the Minifield for the past 2 months. They had feared arrest. However, Joe found himself in a minority against those who felt the minefield was safe. Two people have been picked up, Joe said, by the police. Several checks has been conducted on that premises of Bayes and the home of the perpetrator. He puffed on the cigarette he was smoking. I need money, man. I need money badly. My account has been frozen. What do you expect me to live on? What should I do, sir? Down and dry up. That was Tally O. Joe walked past thoughtfully. Okay, How many customers arrived this week? He asked. Four, and two were arrested at the custom checkpoint at the airport. You hear that? He said, who told you so? Joe snapped. His colleague dropped his cigarette and stopped on it. We have it. Wait, my brother. Not me, Joe. We agreed at the meeting to go to the mines. Money, money, I need money. I have got to travel and I need money. Where to? The east, the west coast, or Europe? I don't travel to Europe. Along the west coast. Joe walked a few paces towards Bay's restaurant. He craned his neck to see what was happening in the restaurant, and then he came back. Bay is 7 food, Joe said. Go there and buy yourself some food. It will rest your mind. A queue has not formed yet. Fix me something, Joe. You have got money. I know that mystery woman paid you good money for the gems. Joe, buy me a plate at Bay's. Joe nodded. Bay's has food to last the whole afternoon, Joe said. He puffed on his cigarette while he talked. An attendant at the door of Bay's restaurant. He gave her a 1 cedi tip. The woman smiled and left. He went back to his friend and they walked to the restaurant. A queue was forming behind the door of Bay's again. The clients of Bay's had started arriving. Joe and Tally-O sat at their usual place. The proprietor joined them at the table and together they discussed many issues, including the robbery reported in the morning's papers. Tally-O, Joe's friend, kept quiet. When they finished eating, the attendant cleared their table. I hear you are going to the mines again, the proprietor asked. Who said so? We are waiting for a safe day, Joe said. I've got to testify an order from Lomi. It's worth several thousand cedis and I have got to meet it, said the proprietor. Joe took another cigarette, lit it, and was soon smoking away. All right, he said. Give me some time to make up my mind. Joe got up. Many people were seated in the hall and had either been served or were waiting to be served. He walked to the glass wall of Bayes, amusing himself at the sight of the struggle of those behind the wall. The cigarette smoke trailed in front of him. The proprietor nodded at Tally-O spoke. Joe was comprehensive about going to Reming's and thought of a way out. He seemed to have got an idea. He walked to them and indicated he was going to his office. Aaron waited by the road. Two women were crossing the bridge with buckets. Neil joined him, holding a basket and a cutlass. They waited for a caretaker. He came not long after, riding a bicycle. Since it was the first day they were going to the farm, the caretaker showed them the way. After walking for 6 kilometers, Neil felt tired and stopped in his track. Aaron and the carpenter followed the caretaker, who had got off the bicycle and was pushing it along. At last they arrived. There are 3 jobs for the day, said the caretaker, addressing them. First of all, you should clear all the wood lying about in the farm. Pack them neatly at the edges of the farm. When you finish with that, burn all leaves scattered about. Neil, who had been sitting on the long line on the farm, got up. The farm was not very big. It was only about 2 acres square. The caretaker took a box of matches from his breast pocket and threw it to the carpenter, who caught it deftly. "You see the cassava stick?" the caretaker said with outstretched arms. The worker's eyes followed the discretion that the caretaker arm indicated. "Cut them to the length." He held out a piece of a stick a few centimeters long. "We are going to plant every bit of cassava stick you find there using the propagation method demonstrated by the Center for Tropical Plant Multiplication from parent stock." He looked dead serious. Have you heard the name before?" They shook their head in silence. When they said nothing, he continued, "The unit is at Ibadan. It's a research unit. Their methods are the best for us here, so follow that method." The carpenter had brought 10 of the cassava sticks, and while they waited, the caretaker demonstrated how to cut them to the right length. "Do you plant cassava in Ghana, Abi?" he asked. The three laughed. "Ghana and Nigeria lie within the equatorial belt and have similar vegetation and grow almost the same crops," Aaron said and moved towards the uncleared wood. Neil joined him while the carpenter cut the cassava stick into shorter pieces. Neil set fire to the unburnt leaves. There were several chopped logs on the farm, and they had to pack all of them into heaps. The location of the farm was an excellent choice. A river flowed nearby. The caretaker walked towards it with the only water can to fetch water from the river. Neil stepped on a small stream among a heap he had set on fire, and it lifted and swung towards him. He swerved sideways to avoid being hit and burnt. The steam fell harmlessly on his shoulders. The tip of the twang broke, throwing spark of fire about. The speck of fire that fell on the shoulder ignited the skirt on the back. He figated as the spot burned. The spark glowed for a couple of seconds and died off. He ran to Aaron and asked him to check the burns on his back. As they were at it, the caretaker returned from the river. "There are a couple of blasters," Aaron said. "Damn it, we are now in slavery," Neil said. They stopped removing the stem and burning the leaves and set to cutting the cassava stick. They did that for a while and talking talked among themselves, and were soon walking towards a burning wood around where they sat. Aaron uprooted cassava plants in farm nearby and dumped the tubers into the fire. As the cassava cooked, Aaron was silent. He had a story to tell his friends, and he told it solemnly. Ant Hills is a dead story now. Neil caught it. Aaron swung the hand of ward off the smoke from the fire. His face was powdered with charcoal dust and snot. Neil watched him as if he was reading his mind. Aunt Hill will be back soon, Aaron said while he smiled. I mean it. This place is not going to be the end of my life. Aunt Hill and my life share a common bond. Aunt Hill and I were both created to live. Meter away, he said, but Aunt Hill will outlive his creator. Neil took a smile. Neil took a small stick and with it turned over the tuber in the fire. Tell me what it's all about. I read the brief story of the project at the bank. Now tell me about yourself. Now tell me about it yourself. We have time now to learn about each other, he said. Aaron retrieved a piece of paper on which he had made some notes from the pocket and showed it to them. It read CO-AI-CA-CH02 parenthesis 2. Neil smiled at the equation, an indication that he did not understand it. He said he was a lover of chemistry. I stopped reading chemistry because I hated learning the valences and physical properties of chemicals. He smiled. Aaron said jokingly, but everyone has his weak and strong points. He did not like his history, for instance, he said. I love anything science, he said as he spread the fold piece of paper before them and cleared his throat before speaking again. I take this paper wherever I go, he said. I worked out the reaction of this equation. It wasn't an easy exercise to check the formula for cement production. Culture is important. I believe there should be an alternative to cement, and I set myself to it to establish what I believe it is a simple, cost-effective mechanism for construction. No one will listen to me because those in charge believe in the old ways, otherwise want to save for their pockets the few percentage they get from the imported materials. You see, and that is costly, isn't it? He smiled. I set out for stabilized soil. I researched on ant hills. I did serious study on ceramics, and the outcome of my research was ant hill, a construction methodology which uses laterite. Laterite. The laterite soil is passed through a machine. The process of milling and getting good tensile strength with an appropriate binding agent has been solved. The product can be used immediately it rams out of the machine. It needs no dyeing period like cement produce products, and the machine can be moved to the site of construction easily. This versatility saves the cost of transporting the cement from the shop to building site. The formula combines the separate product process of cement and block making. You see, until bricks save cost and time. Before I came here, I had worked on another thing, cheaper means of paper production. I obtained I obtained surplus which could save the same which could serve the same purpose. Initial trial with plantains and banana suckers proved satisfactory. Plantain grows faster than banana. Its cultivation and production would achieve two important aims: paper production and food for consumption. Thank you so much for listening. Till we meet again in the next section, and